going on? It's your girl, Phoenix Soul.
And it's your boy, Frederic. What it do?
And this is RSVP, all things love, sex, and relationships. We got another fire show for you today.
Back at it.
Period. With Mr. Elijah Pierce, pro boxer, three-time WBC silver champ,
right?
champion fighter.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What are your stats right now?
I'm 17-2. Well, actually 18-2 now with 15 knockouts.
Wow.
Yeah, so we getting them boys up out of there.
Getting them. You don't be playing either. You be delivering Happy Meals and all kind of gifts and
Yeah, they all get one.
psychologically psyching them out a little bit.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just bringing something new to the game. Like, nobody don't really do that, so
Facts.
it's always good to be original, especially in entertainment.
Period.
You gotta find your way to stand out at all times.
Exactly.
Most
It's
definitely.
simple, as simple as that.
Most definitely. So when's your next fight?
Like I said, it's looking like late September, early October. Kind of got some business dealings right now we got to deal with. So,
Okay.
Once, we get into the bigger bag,
Into the
trying to
bigger
grow that net worth.
I love it.
So, just looking forward to that.
In the life of a fighter, you were kind of giving me like a brief rundown. You know what I mean? I recently watched the Conor McGregor.
See, I ain't even got a chance to watch it
you
yet.
gotta check
But
it
yeah,
out.
I heard it was good though.
It's dope, and like you guys have a different kind of mentality, like a different kind of existence.
No, for real. Like, a lot of people, when they say that they box or they have boxed or whatever, it's like, it'd be funny to me because I automatically, I'll check them real subtle.
How?
I'll just ask them just simple questions just to see, like, if they really have boxed, because there's a certain criteria you got to reach before you can consider yourself a real deal boxer. Like, most people say, yeah, I boxed in Golden Gloves before. But people don't even know. Yeah, there's a.
That's just like training.
No. That's a competition. That's like you have to earn your way up to Golden Gloves. You don't just fight in Golden Gloves.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you just a novice fighter and you just like it's your first fight or something like that, then you fight against other novice fighters who ain't fought it.
So that's cap, like
Yeah,
immediately.
that's straight cap.
Stop it. Immediately shut down.
He gonna check you on that, best believe.
Period, point blank. So today we are talking about what does a real man need?
Okay.
Right. So we talked a little bit briefly yesterday, and we love stories here. So feel free to tell some stories. What are you experiencing in the dating world? Like as a champion, as a fighter, what are you experiencing in the dating world out here?
See, it's kind of different because at first I was more so like experiencing a lot of women who didn't necessarily want to commit, and which was kind of new for me because considering like it's usually on the opposite tip normally.
Facts.
But I don't know, as I've kind of grew in popularity and stuff like that, and I'm continuing to make that rise. Now I see like it's a lot more sack chasing going on. A lot more like women trying to attach themselves to the attention and attach themselves to that. Yeah, exactly. I feel more of a benefit. And then of course I gotta come across the ones who are trying to necessarily hide it and play mind games as if like they're not trying to do that, but all signs point to that.
So how can you tell? Like what does that even look like?
I mean, it's just having good discernment. I ain't no fool. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I'm very experienced. I was married before, 5 years. So
Okay.
I've, I didn't been around the block a little bit, so I know what's up. I'm not just.
You're not new to this.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, like we say all the time, there's only so much you could keep a facade.
Facts.
You feel me? Eventually, you're gonna see through it.
So when we were talking, you were speaking about, the plight kind of the masculine man, So are you encountering women that say they want a masculine man?
Yeah, I think I seen this meme about, I think, what's the name, Mulatto or whatever. She had said something about it too. Like she was speaking on men and was saying like, a lot of men want traditional women, but they're not traditional men or whatever. And I don't know, I was kind of thinking about it, and I was like, I mean, I don't really see how much of that has changed as far as on the traditional man side. I feel like it's just more so like men, we don't want to be traditional men for women who are not traditional, period. And I don't know, I feel like that's just a kind of difference that goes around right now. Like I said, men, you know, if we're expected to front the bill, we're expected to be chivalrous, we're expected to be
Of course. All those things.
Yeah, of course, off the rip. So it's like,
But then you want to do whatever you want to do.
exactly, like what are the requirements? Every time I've asked a female what it is the requirements that they bring to the relationship, most of them, they don't got nothing to say. Oh, well, I'm supposed to bring you peace. You know, whatever sounds good. Okay, so what is that? Well, yeah, what does bringing me peace look like?
Right. And do they have answers for that?
Oh, well, you know, just like doing the dishes and doing the laundry and stuff like that. With the well, okay, those things are nice and those things are, you know, those are cool. But ultimately, I can do those things myself. I don't need you to do those things.
For sure.
It's not a necessity.
Absolutely.
So once again, I'll ask them again, and then I don't know. It's just funny. Like I said, I don't think a lot of women around us even know where they're.
I think peace comes with alignment to the journey. If we're going down the same path,
Yeah.
we're moving in tandem, then there has to be peace because now we both know what we're here for, what we need to do, how we need to move. So it's peace.
Right.
You feel me?
See, I mean, I hate like arguing about like stuff like minuscule type stuff, like or just goofy type shit. Like I can't. That's probably like one of my biggest pet peeves. That and like gaslighting and stuff like that. Like that's a no for me.
Right. You seem very like emotionally grounded, you know what I mean, and mature. And I'm sure that comes with like just your discipline. So you have higher standards, I would think. You know, what are these standards that, you know, a man of your caliber is looking for?
See, and that was my problem. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I said, I mean, I would consider myself humble. I'm a humble dude. Like I said, I don't pass judgment on nobody. Everybody has a past, and everybody, you know, has to experience life in order to grow. So, like me, I think my problem is I was always a little bit too naive. I always kind of was like, you know, as long as I give my absolute best, it'll condition them to treat me the same way, and that's some bullshit. It don't work like that. So. You know, but over time, I just kind of learned to slow things down. Cause like how I move is once I set the vision board for you, like I pretty much give you a vision of how things are gonna look or whatever. If you were to deal with me and whatnot, then once you me and you are on the same page and you agree, then I'll pretty much set the plan in action. I'm like, okay, well, look, we're going to do this. Yeah. We're going to do that. We're going to do that. Okay. And this ultimately is going to, you know, we're going to receive this in the end result.
For sure.
And so every time I've done that, I've never been able to necessarily make it to the end goal because it always gets sidetracked by how. And I feel like that's just one thing with women. Like I don't necessarily disagree with a lot of things that they say when it comes to men. Yeah. I mean, some men have become a little bit more feminine, and men, you know, I feel like they neglect responsibilities on some end. But at the same time, it's like a lot of women I've dated are fatherless, which is a very important aspect that I've noted that goes into just people in general.
For sure.
People that are not really understanding of their backgrounds, understanding, you know, where they raised by in a fatherless household.
Facts.
You know, men and women, because that makes a big difference. And so, like a lot of the women I've dated, they were fatherless, so they were trying to. And me, I've actually I was blessed enough to have two father figures. My biological father, me and my biological dad, we like this.
Okay, I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah, we like this, and then my stepdad, me and him real close too. So,
for sure.
You know, I was able to have like, you know, that double father figure. And then, what was I saying? But yeah, so pretty much I just feel like ultimately it kind of goes in that.
And it's funny because I want to speak to that because I'm a military child, you know, and I was raised by, you know, in the 2-parent household by a disciplined man.
Well, what branch?
He was in the Air Force.
Air Force.
He was major in the Air Force. So yeah. So officer mindset, right? And so being in a relationship with a disciplined man, it can be challenging, and it can be especially challenging for someone who hasn't been raised with that understanding.
Right.
Because there are standards. There is a commitment to growth.
Right.
There is time commitments, you know what I'm saying? And you have to be learning to that, you know what I mean? And
facts.
also continue to want to elevate yourself as a woman, you know, but that definitely has to be taught because for women, that's not easy. First and foremost, you know what I mean? Like we kind of do need that rearing, but I can imagine that it's even more challenging for someone who hasn't had a father and had that kind of rearing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that
I mean, it's tough. And I even had to kind of get used to that too and like learn how to not, because at first I kind of used to treat like women like as if they weren't able to comprehend what I was kind of putting down, I was just kind of all right, like, that's it. Like, it just cut.
Yeah.
Then I've gotten to where I was a little bit more, like, lenient, and I would try to, you know, direct and steer them more towards understanding what I was trying to, you know, get them to comprehend. Because pretty much, like, I just feel like you can't tell me I'm a man, and I was, you know, I was raised in a decent structure. It's not like I come from nothingness or nothing like that. So it's like you're trying to tell me what role I need to fulfill instead of being my helpmate and listening and helping me, you know, formulate a better way, if any.
For sure.
But don't tell me that my way is wrong and then you try to go your own route.
Right.
You know.
It's got to be a union.
Yeah,
it's got to be a partnership and an understanding.
That's simple.
Deep. So, you know, our mindsets often in the love, sex, and relationship sphere, and I think in general, are so fixed on what we don't want sometimes, right? That we don't focus on what we do want. Absolutely, there are great men out here. You know what I'm saying? But you hear a lot of, oh, there's this and there's that. It only takes one, though, right? So I want to, like, really hone in on, like, what it is women do want. And like you're an incredible example of like, you know, someone who's come from being raised by 2 fathers. You have a vision, you're moving in that vision, you're excelling, you're, you know, putting yourself forward. So what does it take? This is like speaking to the women. What does it take to be in a relationship with a man?
Well, definitely, like I said, patience. You know, I feel like that's more, you know, with both sides. Yeah. You know, definitely got to have patience. I mean, especially dealing with somebody like me. Like I said, since I am in the career field that I'm in, you know, being a boxer, like a lot of people popularize it and make, you know, it's glamorous.
Glorify it.
Yeah, all glorified and you know, it's like that. And it can be, you know, to an extent, but it's a lot of fucking sacrifice that goes into what I do. Yeah. Like honestly, it's not a typical career field that one would choose like on a normal, like people say it or act like it, but no, this ain't it. It's tough, like extremely tough, and it's considered the hardest sport. Like if you look online, like it's considered the hardest sport in the world for a reason, because it's really low ass pay. You get shit pay from the beginning. I mean, you have to work your way up. It's a grind. You know, you have to eat, sleep, and dream this shit. Like when it comes to partying or going out, there's a lot of times you're gonna sacrifice them nights. You can't eat what you want. Like I said, the last couple weeks to the fight, you gotta starve yourself. Meaning like there's been times I've only drunk water for a whole week and like had barely no food, like literally just all water. So you gotta make weight, lose weight, and stuff. Like I mean, it's intense.
So what do you need like for a woman to support you in that?
I mean, like it's just really her patience. More so, like that's really the one of the best things that you can have. Is like, you know, like okay, let's say I come home from a hard ass workout, whatever. I'm hurting, I can't eat. I get real irritable like the last week or two. Like I'm extremely irritable. I don't like
believe it.
I'm
only drinking water And you on my back, yo.
Yeah, like I'm like dead ass serious. Cause I mean, just experiencing it, like, you know, I don't want to hear like, oh, like you know, you did something, like, you left something in the car or whatever. Like, I don't, you know, just frivolous stuff.
Little small things.
Yeah, the stuff that can easily be fixed. Like, my mind is fixated on trying to make this weight so I can get in this fight and take care of us and make this money.
Yeah.
Not just think I'll take this and make this money. I'm not worried about none of that you're talking about. So it's like, obviously bringing that type of just unnecessary energy to me, negative energy, is just like.
I
Can't do it, yo.
Yeah.
So we got patience, but is there anything like emotionally, like, you know?
Oh yeah, I mean, just just being caring, be willing to learn, willing to grow. I feel like now, I mean, this is just like I said, my perception of things.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying, like, I know there's a lot of beautiful women out there who can, give a man the world and everything, but from just what I've seen as of recently, I feel like a lot of females, especially younger females, they couldn't build a sandcastle. Like, let alone trying to build a relationship. I don't know. It's just,
what's missing?
they got the understanding of building itself. Like, it's a by building, it's first acknowledging that it takes time. It's not no race. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Talking, yo.
and then that's a big thing when it coincides with social media. Everybody thinks it's a race because everybody sees everybody else with what they got. They see them successful. They see them, they see them with, oh, they going on trips. Oh, they doing this. Oh, they got it. You know what I'm saying? They like that or whatever.
Back there for his girl. Why you ain't do that?
Yeah. No, I'm saying, but that's serious though. I mean, they see that they relate to it.
Yeah.
You know, and they want that, and they try to do whatever they can to get it.
Absolutely.
I think that's why, like, to be honest with you, knowing yourself separate from everything else you see. Who are you? What do you need? I really think, like, relationships aren't that difficult.
They're
It's
not.
work. Sure, it's work just like anything else, but the essence of a relationship is pretty simple. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of times relationships are difficult because in times when we are playing tug of war, you trying to pull your way, I'm just trying to chill for real, but I gotta hold my ground, otherwise you're just gonna drag me in which way direction you want to go.
Right.
And that's the challenge. Whereas, again, we got to be walking in tandem, not playing tug of war with each other. You feel me?
And I think that goes back to our previous episode that we had with Shar, where we were we're dealing with a generation of women that are not being raised by women, but are competing with the older women. You know what I'm saying? So that understanding of how to build is not present because that's not being taught. But the reason that's not being taught is because you don't know what you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So the importance of, shows like this and us really talking and educating, but then also speaking to, and this is going to lead me into my next question is we need OGs. And even if the OGs are young, you know what I mean? We need OGs because I'm seeing a lot of the older guys didn't have X, Y, or Z, and so they're living that out. And so, they're leading younger guys down that path. A lot of the older women didn't have X, Y, Z, and so they're leading women down that path. And so, that's why we have to advocate, regardless of age, for the wisdom and for the understanding that we have and that we know, so that we can really do this the right way. You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
But that leading into, when I spoke to you, you talked about, you kind of have an old school mentality. And we know now that, your fathers influenced you. How did they influence you to be the man that you are, especially in relationship,
Yeah, I mean, really just the teaching, just the wisdom that was given to me. Me and my biological father, we had plenty of talks, whereas he kind of put me on early, and I've kind of grown up studying just relationship mechanics and whatnot, like how I can't really explain it just like to a T, but it's just something that I've just been experienced and learning over time.
For sure.
Like
Phoenix, he said relationship mechanics.
Period. And studying.
Yes, you was raised by some old school players. I could tell.
It's kind of funny because like my grandpa, like low key, I think he was a pimp low key. So dude, like he was out there. Like no joke, my grandpa was out there. I mean, and so my dad, he took from my grandpa. He wanted to obviously do better. He wanted to raise his son and make sure I was on the right path. So.
Right.
I always, gonna give kudos to Pops for that. You know what I'm saying? Like he did something out of the ordinary, I feel like, and he took that helm and was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure my son is, debonair. I'm gonna make sure he really prepared to, court a woman and have that knowledge of, what I'm saying, just really how to be a good dude to a female.
Most definitely. But you said study too, and that's deep, because Brax and I were talking yesterday, and we were talking about like being a wife, and like that's not just something that you get a ring and now you're a wife. You have to like study and learn how to be a wife, and then you're a wife. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that just goes back to you being a fighter too. And I love athletes in general because there's just an understanding of you don't just walk into something and be that something. There's preparation, there's practice, there's understanding, there's studying, there's, reading, there's learning from the greats. And all of that goes into like this culmination of you like becoming that. You know what I'm saying? Not just you just walk into this bad boy and that it is what it is, And so that's definitely something that I feel that we need to understand. If there's something that we want to be, it is not, I'm going to just be it. No, you have to become it and embody it.
Yeah. See, and that's where I feel like now that's where the wires is all crossed at. I feel they're wanting, women are wanting that, but they're not necessarily ready to embody it. They're trying to have one foot in, one foot out. Yeah. They're like, I'll be the wife and I'll do a certain amount of these things, but I'm only gonna do those things. That's what I want to do. I'm gonna do that only.
Right.
And then the male kind of okay, well I'm cool with that. As long as I get some coochie or whatever. And
until you ain't.
Exactly.
Until you ain't cool with it.
No.
I can dig it. So going back to Pop Dukes and like your lineage or whatever. Like, what are you have a daughter? Mm-hmm. So what are you teaching your daughter about, how to be treated by men?
Well, right now, I mean, that's a long ways away. She only 6. So no, don't get me wrong. Like I'm very, very informative when it comes to that stuff. So when it's time, like she definitely gonna be prepared.
Of course.
And I'm not to say that she not gonna make mistakes, until I expect her to. But she's going to be prepared, and that's the only thing I could really ask for. Preparation is key.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want or will allow to happen is her to fall into a trap and she don't know what to do or how to get herself out of it. And especially fuck around with these young niggas. I don't know, because now they getting a little bit more wild too. It's like as every, I guess, generation or whatever, it's kind of getting a little bit more wild. Like everybody getting a little bit more open. The ages are getting a little bit more younger when it comes to exposure.
Yeah.
And everything. I'm like, shit. So, me having a opposite sex child at that, a girl, like her innocence is extremely important to me. So. I'm just trying to make sure I do my due diligence, make sure, you feel me, I'm up on IQ, so I know how to lead her correctly. Yeah.
So
that's a different level of emotional intelligence that you as a man has to hold within you to raise a little girl.
No, and dude, I had my days, especially going through my divorce, like when I went through my divorce, it was challenging for me. That shit was so challenging for me. And it wasn't really just about the relationship aspect of it. It was at the fact that I was like, damn, like, I already kind of knew where I was heading. I already knew that I would ultimately be responsible for this little girl's upkeep. Yeah. Like, I was going to be, because I already was in that position before, we even split. So I was all like, man, I'm completely responsible for her mental, for, how she grows up, from her thought process to everything. That shit had me like, it gave me like, anxiety.
Yeah,
like,
I can imagine.
I was just overwhelmed at one point. And I remember I was sitting on the stoop one day. We were just chilling, whatever, just kind of thinking. I was a little emotional and whatnot. And she had came outside, and when she came outside, like, she seen me, kind of like starting to tear up, whatever. Yeah. And then she came and she kissed me on the cheek. So then, she was like, "Daddy, I love you." Aww. So then, but what was like miraculous about it was just really like how she did it. Like, after she kissed me, whatever, she grabbed my face and she turned my face towards her, and then she was like, "Daddy, we be okay." So then when she said that, I was like, oh, damn, like, that's, that hit me. I was like, okay, that was God through, speaking through her to reassure me and let me know that everything was cool. So ever since that day, then that's kind of that was like that day, that turnaround that kind of put me back in, like, okay, you still here, it's not over. Yeah. You still got a journey to go. And then boom, that was like my little reinvigorating like moment.
Yeah, that breath of life.
Yeah, that my little Rocky moment and shit that brought me back or whatever. So then ever since then, I just kind of been dedicated to securing her future and my family's future. And using boxing as my vehicle to do it.
Period, point blank. Yo, that's powerful.
No, seriously. Like, that was probably one of the most beautiful moments of my life.
Yeah. Do you have like those serendipitous moments that like just show you that you're on the right path?
All the time. Yeah. I mean, like I said, now she's a first grader now. And she's growing, she's healthy. Yeah. So just seeing her, ultimately grow, that shit is beautiful. But then, even just for myself, me able to do the small things that I'm able to do for my family at different points in time, and all this has been my whole process has been nothing short of like a godly like experience. Definitely. Like, he's definitely had his hand on me, and I'm grateful for everything. Like I said, because I had to earn my way back, especially dealing with love. Like, my relationship with love has been at the forefront of kind of like my career and everything, because that was like the almost the leading cause of his demise was love. Struck by the heart type shit. So
yeah. So with your career, booming and you taking things to new levels, like, do you have space? Like, are you open for love coming back in?
Oh yeah. I mean, I was just naturally built for like just fatherhood and just being like a patriarch. Yeah. Like, that's just like,
that's your energy. I can feel that.
Yeah, that's just how I've always been. I've always been a family structured type of man. I'm very family oriented. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I love all that shit. Like, that's just my dream, is to me and my kids and my family, my wife, whatever. We all on family vacation. We've all been having a good time.
I love it.
And then eventually. Just, have a big ass family, what I'm saying, a bunch of grandkids, all that type of stuff. But, ultimately right now, we focus.
Taking it step by step.
We focus,
but
yeah.
Y'all ladies heard the word now. Elijah Pierce is on the market.
Yeah, I am.
In alignment. But it's got to be in alignment.
For sure.
You gotta
have it together, for sure.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. Well, beautiful people. Oh, you know what? Before we wrap that up, I got one more thing for you. We'll make it quick.
No doubt.
Because you talked about it yesterday. Men being feminine and men being sassy. We're gonna end on that note. What do you think about that?
See, like, Okay, now I don't want to like over speak on it just because me personally, I'm not around a lot of that. Obviously, I don't surround myself with effeminate men. Period. That's not, you know what I'm saying. Like I grew up and I'm always around a lot of masculine figures, a lot of strong guys who do what they're supposed to do, and you know they have their good head on their shoulders. I don't really associate with too many really no effeminate men, but. I mean, I'm just going off of speculation. Like, if you talk about, like, the men who are, like, kind of, like, wearing, like, makeup and shit, and they doing all this colored nails and kind of, like, wearing handbags.
Just
and
the
like,
men not really, like, leading women, you know what I'm saying? Like, or stepping into, like, really holding things down on that front.
Yeah, I mean... like I said, I don't really see that much.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not even I hear,
like I hear different examples of it or whatever, but I mean, I would speak on it if I could. Like I said, I don't know about none of that shit.
About that.
Oftentimes, our world is defined by the bubble we live in. So
that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? Like if I don't, so even with me dealing with some women who have experienced that before. Obviously, I reassure them not just by my words, but by my action. But I also have strong words as well, like the way that I'm able to communicate. Like a lot of people, like I would say stuff a lot differently than I feel like the normal person would. So I would kind of use that as a means to like, I mean, I'm not trying to trap or trick nobody. So it's like at the end of the day, look at my actions and everything will be justified, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Period.
But you know, that's just kind of where that trust goes in, and I feel like a lot of people they're not even able to trust. Actually, that's actually a question I want to ask too.
Okay.
How y'all feel about trust in the beginning of a relationship? Period. Because I've asked several women that before, like. Are you willing to even trust, like, as you know, through the dating process?
Yeah.
Because if you're closed off and you don't trust me necessarily, how are we able to grow if you don't trust me?
Exactly.
So.
You want me to answer first? You want to answer that first?
I could go.
Okay.
So I think trust is super important, right? I think it needs to be. It needs to be there off rip, right? Because without that, essentially, like. I'm second guessing everything, and if I'm a second guess everything, it's not gonna work. Cause how if I'm starting off like that, how am I getting to the point of trusting if you didn't even do nothing and I'm already like, you know, side eyeing you.
Yeah.
You feel me?
So how I'm gonna answer that as a woman is, and I feel like this is for men as well. When you trust begins inside of you, and when you trust yourself. And you're in alignment with yourself, then everybody outside of you is a reflection. So the thing is, like, I'm not so worried about whether I can trust him or him because I know that I can trust myself and I can trust in my discernment and I can trust in who I am. And so I need not be concerned. That's like you said, that's not even my paradigm of whether I can trust you, because if you're in my space, I know that I'm divinely protected and God's not going to bring me no foolishness. So I don't even have to put that energy out there. But I think that it all boils down to, like, especially for women have to be connected to their spirituality and connected to God first. And then you have this innate, deep understanding and wisdom within you that you don't have to deviate from, because it's always going to be aligned. If you're doing something to me and I'm not aware of it, I will find out about it. I will have a dream. I will see you randomly on the street. Like nothing ever stays in the dark in my world. So that's not something that we really need to be giving energy to. We need to give more energy into, like, can we trust who we are inside? And then everything else just speaks for itself, you know?
Yeah, that's a fact. I actually experienced that I remember when I experienced that, the whole spirituality of it, dreams, all that, like that shit.
Period.
Shit was crazy.
It comes.
But
it comes. But thank you for asking that, for sure, because that's rolling out on an incredibly good note for certain. So
I was just thinking too. Lastly, I mean, can't forget the inevitable.
Okay.
And that's sex.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like, we both like sex. We're both men and women. Like, we know that. But when it comes to it, it has to be like more. It gotta be more controlled too.
Okay.
I'm trying to think the best way to say it. Like, I don't know. It's just okay. Like, for example, it was one particular female who I was a gentleman to. I was very chivalrous. Like I said, whoever I deal with, you're going to, off rip, you're going to get the best me.
Right.
Off rip.
Right.
I mean, because
that's you.
yeah, I'm going to give you the absolute best me until I feel like you don't deserve it anymore.
Okay.
So I gave, best me, whatever, extremely chivalrous. And like I said, I'm the nigga who, I open car doors, I do the whole nine. Like, that's just how I am.
Amen.
So, it was fine, whatever. Kind of getting to know one another. Almost ends up sexual. It was stopped, which was perfectly
By
fine.
her?
Yeah, she was
Okay.
stopped. It's like, due to, I guess, I don't know, nerves maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
But all good.
Yeah.
Then I was ghosted. And I was kind of confused. I was like, okay. All right. Boom. About a month goes by. Shorty pops up.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I was kind of just nervous and going through just thinking about it. I just wasn't in the right space. I had to get myself aligned or whatever.
You could have said that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, can I come through?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, boom, come through. One thing led to another. Whoop de whoop. And got down about a day or two, about 2-3 days later. So why you ain't been hitting my phone? Why you not, treating me like whoop de whoop? Wait, what you I was supposed to? What did you think? I mean, what was your your indicator? What did you think was gonna happen? You thought she was finna come lay it down, and you thought, oh, this nigga finna fall in love with me.
Because I gave him the coochie, he need to give me the world.
Boom. So you didn't acknowledge the fact that I was trying to do that respectfully in the beginning. I was trying to build with you, but now you don't like that.
So after the month, you had just written it off, and then when she came back, it was not like let's start back up. It was just like, you're over there, I'm over here.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because it's like what you get now you have to feel you have to feel what I felt, and you have to experience that same negativity. I mean that you put in the relationship itself, because it wasn't there. I ain't had I don't have any ill intent with nobody.
Right.
And just because you jumping back in don't mean I'm about to jump back in with the same passion.
Yeah, that's kind of right. Just one thing about me off rip, like I'm extremely passionate, and so like once you kind of put like take out the fire on that, it's kind of OV.
Got it.
Unless you working your ass off or whatever, and you really trying to show me or something that you fucked up, but yeah, it's hard to come back from the fuck up with me.
Okay, got you. So in your perspective, she had messed up because of the lack of communication. And that's why I think communication is everything, like definitely I think you were spiritually protected, to be honest. When you
90% of people will say that, but I don't think they actually believe it.
What?
Exactly what you said about being spiritually connected and whatnot. Like I don't know. I don't
what
feel
spiritually protected? You being spiritual? I'm saying you were spiritually protected.
Okay, got you. No, I thought you said them being spiritual. Okay, got you.
No. I think if that transpires the way that it did, there's a reason for it.
Oh yeah.
And I think that you were spiritually protected. You know what I'm saying? And that person just wasn't aligned. Like that was God just showing you that person was not in alignment with your destiny, because you have a very clear path. And so people are going to be there or supposed to be there, or they're not. And when people just fall off like that, I've learned to, at this point, not even take it personally. It's just like really understanding that when you have a God-given path, sometimes you don't even need to understand. You just need to know that you're always protected.
For sure.
And keep it busting, because those people that are supposed to be there are going to be there.
Oh, that's a whole fact. Like I said, it took time for me to get to that point.
For sure.
But yeah, I definitely there's a bunch of situations as of the last couple, I want to say about 2 years to recently, that I didn't. God was there.
God was all up in the mix, yeah.
For sure.
So I definitely just chalk it up to that. At this point, I don't even see people as people anymore. I just see them as energy. And I think that sometimes when they come into our lives, we're at a certain place energetically. And if you are an elevated person and you continue to work on yourself, it is up to that energy that connected you to also do the same. And if it doesn't, it's going to break apart. And so I'm like, okay, well, I can't take things personally, and I'm not even going to look at that as a person, because that would lead me to be attached to something that I'm clearly not supposed to be attached to. Your energy, and you represent at a certain level. So thank you. We out.
Oh, yeah.
And on that note, thank you so much, Elijah, for pulling up, chopping up with us. Where can the people find you?
Oh, yeah, y'all can find me on Instagram at Elijah_Pierce. On Twitter at WXXLFIE, and also on Facebook at Elijah Pierce, and on YouTube at The Wolf Elijah Pierce.
Yes, y'all heard the word. Y'all know where to catch them. You got the event coming up here pretty soon. I'm trying to be there.
Yeah, I know.
I'm trying to be there.
No, but it's definitely, it'll be on TV again.
Bet.
And like I said, I don't have a date yet. I just fought, but y'all gonna be hearing a lot of big news about me soon. Like I said, I just got this C4 sponsorship, so I'm sponsored by the energy drink now.
Yes.
So
shout out to C4.
That's hard.
Heck, sure.
Most definitely.
I mean, a lot of big opportunities coming. I didn't work my ass off to get here too, so I'm just kind of reveling in the moment right now.
Got to.
For real.
Well, it's your girl Phoenix Soul.
It's your boy Frederic.
And this is RSVP, all things love, sex, and relationships. We'll see you soon. Peace and blessings.
Cheers.
RSVP.